So Arsenal 0, David Moyes FC, Declan Rice derby 2. Shocking, Kenny, shocking. And do you know what? This game was scheduled for Boxing Day. I wish it had been on Boxing Day because it might have been a different game. You was sadly unfortunate enough to be at the game, mate. One of the top gooners that never left with 5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Didn't give up on your team. You hoped for the best. But you watched that and witnessed that unfold right in front of your very eyes, mate. Make sure you follow Kenny Ken 1972. But Kenny, what did you make of that, mate?
Well, this result was down to the manager. The reason why I say it's down to the manager because when you change the style of play, two things you're going to achieve. Yeah, you're going to get the control. You're going to control games. But what happens is that teams are going to play differently against you. What teams are going to do is that they're going to put men behind the ball. And then what happens when you don't have that kind of fast tempo, you become predictable. He's never got over the fact we didn't win the league. He cited games against Bournemouth, Aston, which we won, by the way, as you know what, oppositions are doing us on the counter attack. They're getting bodies forward and outnumbering us, and they're having clear chances against us. Can never happen again. So what he's done, he's played this new style of play. He's brought Declan in, but what Declan does is that he has great recoveries. But when it comes to like how do I say it, from my attacking point of view, fast tempo, Declan's probably part of the problem. Today he was atrocious. I'm just getting it out there. He was absolutely pathetic. Yeah. And the reason why it was pathetic is not because he weren't trying. He was trying too bloody hard. It was like he was trying to show his old mates how well he's done again, at his new club, and how he's showing his new employers. Oh, look at me! I'm Arsenal through and through. What you did?
I've made it.
Yeah, everything you did was poor. You gave the ball away. You gave a penalty away, which was culminated the rubbish that you produced. Kudos was just walking past you, gliding past you like you weren't even there, mate.
He spun him so many times. It was
spun you so many times. And then in terms of the goal itself, you're there. Your job is to, do recoveries. But when you're in a situation where yourself, Gabriel, Zinchenko, and Benjamin White have got a couple of the errors, one man gets in between you. Now, you want to talk about the ball going out. Well, I'll tell you one thing right now. Let's talk about defending when leading up to goal. How can Paquetá have time to and Emerson have time to put those balls in? Because you're ball watching. You're ball watching, and then what's happened is you thought the ball went out, so you stopped. Well, I'm sorry. If I'm off the pitch, then it's highly likely I'm going to keep the ball in. Now, I've seen the videos when I've remained on the ground. I'm still at the ground now. And yes, it looked like it, but so bloody what? The whistle didn't fucking go, did it? It didn't go. And what they say at all levels, play to the bloody whistle. But it's even then, you've got to look at, we got to have a conversation about Trossard and Martinelli. Both of those, Martinelli is in his team by default. I'm sorry, I've got to say it. Martinelli is in the team because of his pace. It is no accident that we've been trying to replace him for the last year because he hasn't evolved, he hasn't developed his game. And the fact is, today, pathetic. The chance he had in the first half. Last season, he's putting that away.
Yeah.
This season, it's going nowhere. There were fans screaming for us to take him off after half an hour. He was that bad. He's so predictable. Things like where he normally used to go, ghost into the box at pace. He don't do that no more. Because guess what? They know what you're going to do, mate. He is basically an underrated player playing in big man's football. And it stinks.
Do you think that that's down to the player himself, or do you think that's down to the system we're playing, which doesn't accommodate any of our forwards?
Well,
Jesus was on his arse all the time. Sat down.
You say it's part of
is that down to
the manager.
Mikel, or is that down to him?
Well, yeah, it's down to Mikel, but part of the manager's job is for you to evolve as a player to the extent that your position are always going to know your strengths and to know your weaknesses. They're going to master your strengths. So when they master your strengths, you've got to have a different bow to your arrow. You've got to have another aspect to your game and take it up to another level. Martinelli failed to do that. Second half of the season, he came into it a bit last season. There was a period, by this time last year, where he was very predictable. And, rightly so, we were looking to replace him, and Trossard came in. But Trossard's part of the problem. Trossard drops the ball. I'm not saying that Kuyverts would have done a better job, but Trossard had that chance of setting off. He's got to put that away. But in terms of what he was doing, he was getting himself basically walked into a brick wall. But it was another situation. Odegaard, you've got to talk about Odegaard. Games like this, when you've got men behind the ball, because guess what? This isn't new. Teams nowadays play low block. They put men behind the ball because that's their blueprint against this Arsenal side, especially the way we're playing. All this stuff about Arsenal having control of games. Yeah, you have the possession, but it doesn't mean you're destroying teams. Your best results is probably a 1-0 or a 2-0, or 2-0 like the Brighton game. Complete control, but we only won 2-0 because guess what? We don't play that fast brand of attacking football. And guess what? When you play like that, it gives the opposite a chance because West Ham got Paquetá, who probably wasn't fit before, but he gave it half an hour. He gives you control. Jared Bowen will run all day. Kudos is probably his performances this season has probably elevated, has probably been better than his counterback, i.e. Saka. So you compare both of them.
100%.
Yeah, Saka. So he's got that outlay. He's got a bit of danger. And then Alvarez as well. When Paquetá went up, Alvarez said, right, I'm going to do that job. Wall press, pitch perfect with delivery. You've got all of that. And West Ham a bit flaky where they could be atrocious and excellent. Today,
Fulham battered them 5-0 the other day.
Yeah, and that's the situation. But the fact is that they had the motivation. They were playing against Declan Rice. They know they can beat us because they already beat us in the League Cup pretty comfortably. And let's not forget, they're one of the teams that stopped us winning the title.
Kenny, our captain spent more time doing this.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. Teams are working us out. We are predictable. The manager is basically panicked because he wants to take more control of games. But guess what? If good coaches are looking at that, you've got to find some way. You've got to quicken your tempo. Aston Villa played the same way. Put men behind the ball. Rode their luck. Newcastle put men behind the ball. But we didn't have the quality to break it down. Today, we could be still playing right now, and it's 11:30 in London. We still wouldn't have scored. And that's the thing. Teams, West Ham, like I said, they're blocking the shots. They're getting their bodies into dangerous areas. The keeper was making saves. Yeah, some saves that would go straight to him.
Resorting to aimless balls into the box.
Definitely.
We're just going to head her out all day.
Definitely. You've got to look at the substitutes. Do they have an effect? Reece Nelson, no effect whatsoever. Smith Rowe, yeah, he ran about, like I said, like a Colts player. Could have had a chance. But again, no effect. Eddie Nketiah worked his nuts off. No effect. That's an area. You want to win the league, you've got to look at your situation, your substitutes and think, right, there's going to be games where if this is how team's going to play with us, my substitutions have to have equal qualities of the players they're replacing. Because right now, there's no impact coming around substitutes. Anfield on Saturday, no impact. Don't get me wrong, both teams settled for a draw, but no impact for the substitutes. It's the same sort of thing we're having a lot of times. Are our substitutes making an impact? No, they're not. Is Reece Nelson, a player that we signed on a new contract, making an impact? Is he worth his place in squad? No, he isn't. So why was he signed? He's signed so he can keep a good English core, especially so he can use him in the squad for the Champions League.
Keep it to sign him.
And it's an FFP consideration. The fact is that Mikel Arteta's got a big decision to make. But I can tell you now, categorically, I promise you, he will not get a striker. The reason why he won't get a striker, because if he gets a striker in, he's going to have to play with a quicker tempo, get the ball forward, get the strikers to the game a lot quicker than he wants. So there's going to be none of that build-up that he likes. And what will happen is that the risk is we get caught in a counter-attack. And he can't have that. So you're not getting a striker. Read my lips. You will be getting a defender, probably another left-back, probably another centre-half, because we're apparently short in that area, and you're going to get a midfielder. If you're going to do a striker, so we could get Ivan Toney. How much to get? Stop wasting your time. We are not getting a striker. This is our style of play, and the only way we're going to win this league is two ways: up in a tempo, playing on the front foot at pace, and taking our bloody chances. Because when we don't take our chances, the game settles down. it's an going to be hard game. Fulham have been atrocious, got battered by Burnley. They got absolutely battered by Bournemouth. But I tell you, this is Fulham's game plan. They're going to look at West Ham, look at Aston Villa, look at our Liverpool players as well, and say, right, we're going to put men behind the ball, and we're going to see what we could do from set pieces and see if we can use our pace in the counter attack. But guess what? They did it in the Emirates, didn't they? That's how they played. And they could have won the game, even though they went to 10 men.
The only difference with what we've seen today, is that we've seen this. And you've been at the games, Kenny, at home, especially, on the London aways. We have seen that game 10 times this season out of 20 odd games in all competitions.
And that's the thing.
We didn't score tonight.
That's the thing. We've been talking about this from all the way back to the Bournemouth game that we won 4-0, and after the Chelsea game where we were lucky to get a point. The first game, and everyone's saying this team's looking better. We're looking more compact. We're not going to win it. Control. But the fact is, you can have the possession, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to win games with a bit of panache. You've got to be able to break teams down. We're in a situation now where teams have got a blueprint against us, and they know that Mikel is desperate not to be outnumbered in midfield when they're on the counter-attack, and he's desperate not to be conceded. Hence the fact that he's playing this slow build-up. It's all risk and reward, but this is the only way you're going to see fast attacking, flowing footballs in Europe, because teams are not used to the English style of play. But against a better team in Europe, they're going to be watching these games. Probably will watch this game, and they're going to say,
we don't fear anybody in Europe.
Let me tell you, if I was Porto, I'll watch this game, watch the Liverpool game, and watch the Aston Villa and West Ham, Newcastle games, and say, right, we're going through here, because all we've got to do is put men behind the ball, block the passes, and use our pace. And use our pace on a counter attack. We'll do them, and they even fancy their chances at the Emirates. Yeah, we have to change the way we play. We have to take risks. We don't take risks, then it's Champions League football. We're finishing second or third. We are not winning this league.
All right, get home safely, man. Always love you, man. And
love you loads.
All right, you go again. You going to Fulham?
Of course, I'm going for them. You know, it's like asking me, do I have KFC at least 3 or 4 times a year? Of course I do.
I love you, man. Take care. Get home safely. Take care, bro.